cast right now, which we all know is actually going to show up in the live broadcast. But we're just playing it doubly safe because once it goes live, then we'll give our wonderful intro to welcome everybody. And we're live! Hey, Zombro fans, Russell27 back here for yet another wonderful week of Zombros action. Hopefully we're actually live and Reed didn't mess anything up. Is my microphone on? Can we double check that that is on? John, go ahead and talk. I think I did everything right this week besides getting on time. Only a 7-minute delay. No big deal. Welcome back. Happy 2020. My goodness, is it great to see you all here in the new year. Nothing happened in January. That was a totally quiet month of news, wasn't it, John? Nothing happened in the world news, not zombie news.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if we were talking zombies or if you were being sarcastic.
I was being sarcastic about world news, yes.
2020 is off to a quiet start. It's been a month.
It's been a month. It's been a month. But man,
I think
man.
The best way to describe it. Yeah, a month has passed.
Yup, that happened. Let me also shout out everything, or tweet. I got a Discord, let everybody know we're live. But before I do that, this week we are going to be talking about Nacht der Untoten on COD Mobile. We're going to be talking about the Tag der Untoten Easter egg that Treyarch teased and then was found. And we're going to talk about this new speculation that's going on about, I saw it on one of my videos, a note clipping video I did of Revelations discussing the roses on Richtofen's grave that apparently were a hint years ago. It was always in front of your faces. So I think we'll be able to do all this. I did bump John's mic up quite a bit. So talk again, John.
Levels.
Put it a little closer to your face. Just a little bit.
Levels.
Yeah, you should be fine. It's not showing it too high. Discord is very loud in that respect, and you're blown up all the way there. So yeah, I think that's just Discord being Discord. Regardless, I'm going to real quick shout all that out. So how you been, John, though, in this month off? Why don't you got any news and announcements? I believe you have something special going on right now.
Yeah, pretty good. I do have something special. The Johnny J channel is uploading videos again.
Hey!
I uploaded a video and then did a stream the other day. We did a charity stream where we're raising money for Penn State's dance marathon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a brief spiel on it and let you know what we're doing. Reed, do you have the link to the Indiegogo, or should I send it again?
I do have the link. I'm going to grab. Thank you. I will do that. I'll send it in chat right now.
So last week I streamed for about 8 hours raising money for Penn State's dance marathon. And what this is the largest student philanthropy in the world. What we do is it's a year-long fundraising effort to. Apparently I'm quiet, so I'm just going to speak really loudly into the mic.
I'm putting you up higher.
It's a year-long fundraising effort to raise money to fight pediatric cancer. So all the money we raise goes to the Four Diamonds Foundation, which goes to help, one, fund research as well as pay for treatment and raise awareness. So this is a yearly fundraising effort that culminates in a 46-hour dance marathon. And then this dance marathon, by the end, they announced like the total that they raised. Last year, I think the total was $10.6 million raised. This year, actually, my roommate is dancing, so he'll be on the floor of the dance marathon for 46 hours straight. Can't sit, can't sleep, has to stand the entire time, and it'll be him and about, I think, like a couple other thousand dancers who are also doing this the entire time.
How long?
46 hours. No sleeping, no sitting down. 46 hours.
Are they hydrating and eating, I hope?
Yeah, they're hydrating and eating. Like it's a whole effort. Like if you can imagine, this is a massive effort by the whole Penn State community where like every dancer has like their dancer support partner who's like there with them all times. Like you hydrated, you have your food, like following you, like taking care of their needs. Meanwhile, then there's like this, and this is all happening inside like our basketball arena. So all the dancers are on the floor, and then the basketball arena itself is full of people in the stands who are also not sitting, just standing the entire time to encourage the dancers to keep going. And then they'll have like musical performances throughout the weekend. And it's all a big fundraising effort to raise money to fight pediatric cancer. So I'm doing my part to support the event, and you'll find a link to an Indiegogo I'll throw it again in the chat.
Yes,
We've
please.
got We've got a bunch of merch on here because the thought was, I'm like, I've got a bunch of old merch, and I knew Reed had a bunch of old merch, so I asked Reed if he can just send me a bunch of shit, and he sent me a huge box full of stuff. And all the money that I raise from the merch is going to the Four Diamonds Foundation, which will support the dance marathon and help fight pediatric cancer. So we've got a bunch of cool shit. We've got like the classic Zombros dog tags. So you'll remember we made these as like a Patreon perk back when we first launched it. Original patrons got these. So if you missed out on these, you can get them. That's only $5. I have like, remember the zombie 10-year painting puzzle thing?
Yep.
Well, I have that, but in magnet form.
Oh, neat.
Fridge magnets. So if you want one of those, they're there. I think this is also $5. We have what I call the mystery box, swag box, whatever. Mystery zombie swag mystery box. And for $10, you can get just a little mystery box sent to you. And in that will be an assortment of zombie goodies. Things like perk bottle cap magnets. The lighting's hard. I have Perca-Cola stickers, some of like the 3D printed perk bottle stuff. So I have a bunch of like little stuff you can get in a random like loot bag. We have some posters. The Zombros poster. We have this one in the Alpha Omega version. So if you missed out on those, you can get that. We also have the Wonder Fizz machine. I thought this was pretty clever.
I did too.
You could spin the Wonder Fizz machine, and you'll get sent a random like Perca-Cola poster. So we have Victoria's Tortoise right here. Other little stuff like Reed was kind enough to send me some of his like Juggernaut t-shirts. We've got Zombro beanies, which are honestly perfect for this time of year. We've even got one last Ether poster. So if you wanted to get your hands, I think I have 3 of them for sale. The last one is for sale right now. You can get that. A link in the description.
And this is all for charity again. This isn't fire sales that we're moving merch or anything like that. We're just
it is a bit of a fire sale. There's only 30 something hours left in the Indiegogo campaign. We're currently right now at $402, and I'm hoping to hit the goal of $500 in merch sales. So, and all of the money is going to the Four Diamonds Foundation. So it's a way to get like some zombie swag that like probably once is gone will never be available again. Like I don't imagine we'll be doing another round of Zombros beanies.
No, we won't be.
So it's like once they're gone, they're gone.
Yep.
And some of like the Zombros posters and stuff like that, I don't imagine lasting much longer.
They want to know where's the limited edition blender though? The Zombros limited edition blender. That's what they want.
I don't know why we haven't done a Zombros blender yet.
Liability, John. Sharp objects. Electricity.
I also just accidentally ruined a Zombros poster by running it over with the wheel of my chair. So
we have one less.
Now the value of the remaining Zombros posters has increased. So originally there were only 5 Zombros posters left. Now there's only 4. So get them. Supplies are dropping fast because I accidentally roll over them in my chair. If you want some of the Zombros zombies merch that honestly probably won't be available again, and you want to also help an amazing cause, then please do go check out the Indiegogo in the description. I'm hoping to hit $500 before the campaign ends. So thank you, to everybody who's already donated and supported, and everybody who came out to the stream. And let's go kick cancer's ass.
That's an absolutely awesome cause that you're supporting, and I love how it's part of the entirety. We had something like that at my college too. They call it Relay for Life. It's right along those ideas of people actually trying to make a difference and get that money to make a difference in helping others. It's so necessary in so many ways because you see these struggles, or maybe you don't see. Many people don't end up seeing the end, and if you can just have like a fun event and just get people jazzed about dancing for 48 hours, if it's helping somebody at the end of the day, it's totally worth it.
And it's like, so you have like you could say to yourself, okay, well, it's like, why do we need to have this big dance marathon? Why can't we just raise the money and donate it directly? And it's like, while that is true, like the campaign is not as successful if the marathon's not there. Yes, and it
also builds community around and awareness in a way. There's obviously people that take advantage of it. There are a ton of shitty organizations that like mints, because that blew me away when I was doing charity live streams bi-yearly or twice a year, and to see like, we actually only send like 75% of whatever we take in to the charity, that stuff blew my mind. So it's always good to be doing your research, and I'm certain your charity as well is
well,
typically
it's all completely student run.
Yeah,
like nobody's getting paid to be a part of this,
and that's exactly why it all goes directly, because it's all volunteer work, and that's terrific.
And even like, for example, like they will sell, like, so we use like the basketball arena, which is, it's the school, so it's not really paying anybody for it. But then also, like, I believe like they'll sell concessions for the people who are there, but all the concessions money is students working the concession stands for free, and then the money just goes to Thom.
That's great.
So it's all 100% student run, and it's a great cause.
Nice. You reminded me, though, when you just hit your poster, of how frustrating that can be. When I was sending out many of the Ether and Chaos posters, I would get all the way in the packaging process to all I got to do is put a rubber band around the poster and then cap it off and put the tape, and you're good. 2 or 3 times I've had the rubber band just for whatever reason hit the top of the poster, and it completely dents the poster, and I've just ruined the whole product. And it's just like, it's just like, oh my god, a mistake like that, I just can't use it anymore. Completely gone. So I feel that.
So we're the number of Zombros posters is dropping by the minute.
Yes.
Not because they're selling, but because I'm running them over with my chair.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, all Chaos posters are sold out at this time, so I don't know if I'll ever run them again. The best way to know is if my channel doesn't do anything in the next 8 months, and I just pick things back up with the next Call of Duty game from Treyarch, maybe they'll come back then, but otherwise, we'll see. Ether posters are available. Both. First, go to the Indiegogo. Get the last one there. There's only one there. You can help a good one. And then if not, if you didn't get it through there, then can head over to radrendering.com.
Maybe we even sweeten the deal if you want. We can get it like signed, Reed and I.
Sure.
But I think we just got a sale on the Indiegogo.
Hi.
What's sold? I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. They don't tell. I can see the number went up, but they don't tell you what exactly sold. I think we sold a few more dog tags. I just sold 4 mystery boxes. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Oh, I also forgot to wait.
What'd you forget?
No, I was just seeing. Oh, we sold a Zombros Alpha Omega poster too.
Hype! Oh, you guys are terrific. Oh, thank you all for helping the charity event.
I have my Zombie Chronicles poster packs for sale on there too.
Yep.
So, like, I forgot to mention these. So, like, the ones that I've been selling for a while, I have literally my last 8. So, you have, like, Origins, Nacht, Moon, but not upside down.
Oh, God. I really came around to your posters as time's come on, John. Not that I didn't like them, but I had that minimalist design. I really like a lot of the things you've done with those posters over the years. They're an absolute steal if you can pick them up. Right now for that Indiegogo campaign. Get after it.
The last 8 that I own.
It made me want copies.
They're all going to charity, so you can find that in the description.
I'm the poster guy. So yes, again, that's the Indiegogo campaign. I actually, even when this goes up afterwards, I didn't add it to the description of the video. I will do that right now. Thank you for saying that so many times. I kept putting it in chat, but I forgot to put it as the top link inside the video. And by the way, someone in chat said they got paw prints on their posters? That seems literally impossible because I store them. I store them way up high away from all my dogs. That would be super unlikely. It's like 8 feet. No, that's too long.
Reed's out here like investigating. Like, how do I know you didn't take your own dog?
Yeah, what do you mean? But that's all right. But speaking, have you thought about making the posters into t-shirts? I'd love to get them as shirts. Which ones? My posters or John's posters? Because I feel like they're too dense for a t-shirt. T-shirts are normally good for like just a saying, or like a word.
I don't think they work as t-shirts. Like what are you wearing right now as a t-shirt?
Literally just a plain black shirt. That's all it is.
And this t-shirt literally just my school name and logo.
Yeah, a logo. The other one I have underneath it is a baseball team logo.
What can work, I think, is like maybe like a perk logo.
Yeah.
Can work. But I think full-blown images and scenes don't work well on t-shirts. Most t-shirts that you see, very simple designs.
Yeah. The only one that jumps in my mind, I normally get compliments on in public, is a Rosie the Riveter shirt, but it's what's her name, Captain Marvel, the comic Captain Marvel doing the Rosie the Riveter thing, and that's clever and it's fun, but it still looks odd too because it's just clearly a square screen print on it, and it's like that's a poster.
I don't love the look. I don't like the look of those.
But you know what I do love the look of.
Shout out Omega Zero, who said he just bought a couple stuff for a great cause. Thank you,
dude. I really appreciate that. Hey, Greg, good to see you. Mad Lobster Kingdom, say hello to all my mods, and Vamex. Thanks you for buying the posters and seeing you around. I just wanted to give a shout out to a couple other people, as we'll get into the topics in just a moment because we want to catch up with you. We haven't seen you in forever. So good to see everyone.
In a year.
Yes, dad jokes. Come on, more of them.
That wasn't even intentional.
Oh, nice. I am working with Stefan again for our next posters. As you know, I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series. And for the release of Resident Evil 3, I will have new posters coming out. My Patreon page, everyone who is a continuous supporter of that Patreon at the $15 tier, when they come out, or you can do like $2 and then that month go up to the $15 tier and you'll get the poster. We're working on Resident Evil 3, but it's a celebration similar to what we did with the Ether poster, but way more realistic. There's definitely a stylistic choice being made with it, and we're looking to celebrate both games. So what we have so far is I'll show you, I've shown a little bit on the Patreon, but I love showing the concepts because it always looks so far out from my drawings. I was showing some of my family members. They're like, how does he ever go from what he shows to what ends up happening? So here's my beautiful stick figures, right? I have in the middle the 4 characters, and then I have the 2 bad guys looking at them all. I had Nest below hand. If you're unfamiliar with the game, don't worry about it. You'll see pretty pictures in a moment. A statue that's significant, a city skyline and a moon, and I wanted some things written in lights in the city. Okay, cool. So that was the initial concept that I sent over to Stefan. Now, that's the guy that made the posters we're talking about, the Chaos and Ether posters. I just get so excited working with him because he's so darn talented. So he comes back in a day and basically has it sorted. He's like, all right, read it. Here's what I got in 24 hours. This is what we're looking at. And I'm like, cool. Yes, I'm liking the idea here. And this is where we're going. We didn't know what we wanted to do with the bottom per se yet, but the layout of the characters, we're just trying to get the layout in order. So then we continue working it, and he's like, hey, wait, I got an idea for what we're going to do below hand for Nest, and he got your boy Hunk involved. If you know what Resident Evil, I was dying to find some way to get Hunk actually involved. And I believe that might be the latest iteration of it. It's one of them anyway. And we have Nest coming together. You have Jill and Leon in the middle there. In the lights in the buildings, it actually is going to spell out for like certain windows that are lit up, relive. Because to me, normally people abbreviate Resident Evil as RE. And they typically do like reimagine, recreated, remastered. And I thought this post would be a great way to relive the Resident Evil collection. He even had a way of getting the helicopter involved in the background as well from Hunk. So a lot of really cool stuff. And then to show you some of the details that are now coming through with Mr. X and Claire. I mean, look at how some of the final versions are coming along for that poster. It just fills me with excitement when you get to see these gorgeous designs coming to life, from my shitty little stick figures to actually starting to see our transformative work of Claire, Mr. X, Resident Evil, to try and get you to have that wonderful moment, get that enjoyment, or maybe capture that nostalgia when you were playing the game not even a year ago, or the excitement for when it comes out. So you'll be able to buy them through my website in April when the game releases, Resident Evil 3, and patrons will be able to get copies once it's finished. You can see more updates as time goes on. So that's what I've been working on while dealing with all the things I've been dealing with. I've been getting really excited by all that, and I wanted to share that with you because it's one of the really good things I have going on in my life right now. And a big shout out to Stefan again for being so talented.
Oh, he's amazingly talented. Like, I didn't realize how nice the Ether poster and the Chaos poster were until you sent me them to like put together for this Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm.
And man, were they like the quality? I was impressed. I was actually like really surprised at how good they look. He's really talented.
It's amazing. And actually, let me link his Instagram too before we move on, because he's. I love his work. It's on my website. If you ever go to my website, if you go to the footer of my page where you buy the posters, or basically any page besides the splash, the page you get there initially, there's an artist tab, and you can actually see all the artists that make all my posters. And I link to their pages that they told me to link to, and you can get a great look at their work. Give him a follow. Tell him Reed sent you, and tell him how wonderfully talented he is. All right.
Zombies.
Yes, let's talk about zombies finally.
Let's talk Nacht.
Nacht der Untoten.
I'm disappointed.
Really?
I grinded out COD Mobile. Got myself to level 15.
Yeah.
Because they raised originally had to be like level 5 or 4 or whatever to play zombies.
Yeah.
And that was the level I reached to be able to like talk about it on the show. And then I re-downloaded it to play Nacht.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to grind it now 15. So I play the COD Mobile online, and games either go one of two ways. I'm either getting played by people who are really good, or I found a lobby of all bots and I'm spawn trapping them.
Yeah.
So games either go like I'm either on top of the world or at the bottom of the world.
Yes.
But I grind my way to level 15.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, let's dive into Nacht so I can play it. And then I realize it's not even out yet. I thought it was out because I see all the videos online. I knew those videos were from the testing server or the beta server. I don't know how to get access to that. But I also read online that season 3 came out like January 24th.
Mm-hmm.
And I just assumed it was part of season 3. And I guess Nacht is not out.
Nope.
Despite me thinking it was out.
John had me convinced. Like yesterday, I was trying to play. I was trying to get, and then I thought I'd let him down. And this morning, I'm like,
Did you grind it? Did you grind to level 15?
I was getting there, but I was again so sick yesterday that I ended up like sleeping for like 14 hours yesterday, on and off. So that was part of the frustration. But finally, I started like Googling around. I'm like, why isn't there more info out? Where's the like Easter eggs like we saw on Shinonuma and Zetsubo no Shima? Like I should be seeing these videos like crazy.
No, there are Easter eggs and I've seen them.
Little ones.
Yeah, like little ones, but not like the Zetsubo in Shinonuma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not out yet. I mean, there's plenty of information on lots of gameplay, and that's what I figure we still discuss.
Yeah, we'll at least talk about that. But I imagine there would be much more, or at least marginally more, to talk about when it ends up actually releasing.
I don't get how they do COD Mobile now, though. Because so they had their seasons.
Yeah.
But you think they would have... Because it seems like Nacht is pretty much all but ready to go. So I don't know why they haven't released it with Season 3 or when it's coming out. And I'm not even actually sure they've teased it or they've teased it, but I'm not sure they've even announced it. They sent out one teaser, which was like the recreation of like the scene of, like when you start up Nacht and the guy's running at you.
Yeah, that was cool.
That little short cut scene. They have a recreation of that, but for mobile.
Yeah, I like the new one.
But they haven't given a date yet, and I'm just out here like, what are you doing, COD Mobile?
Yeah, January 8th was the leak.
COD Mobile account on Reddit posted this on January 15th about Nacht. Hey there, no news on that front yet, I'm afraid, but thank you for the support and kindness. But there have been a lot of leaks.
Yeah, look at that. Too. Leaks going nice and strong still in the zombies community.
Well, these leaks were before it was playable, I think.
Yeah, it was. Wow.
And this was like our first indication, because I watched a video discussing all of this, and this was our first indicate. I don't know how much of this we can show.
I wouldn't show any of it.
But there's plenty of YouTube videos that but sum up all the information from these leaks, and was like, okay, this is how we know Nacht is coming out.
Yeah, they haven't given a date.
We know the Pack-a-Punch is coming into it. We know there's new areas to Nacht. And you can go online right now, and John has a bunch of gameplay up on his channel, Mr. Dalek JD.
Yeah, he seems to be at the front of COD Mobile.
I'd like to know how we can get our hands on the like beta servers. If anybody knows how, that would be great. Or if anybody can put us in contact with somebody who knows, because I'm sure as new stuff comes out, we'll be regularly discussing it. And it'd be nice to just be able to jump on a server rather than grinding out 15 levels.
I've been noticing Kenshin in chat. Big shout outs. Good to see you around. And he says that the COD Mobile account on Reddit posted this January 25th about NDU. Hey there, no news on that front yet, I'm afraid, but thank you for your support and for the kindness. Did you already say that? Did I repeat that for you?
I did already read that. I'm curious what the COD Mobile account is. What's the Reddit account? If anyone knows where that handle is, I want to start following that account.
Yes, that'll be good.
But let's talk about the so yeah, we haven't been able to play it yet, like I thought we would, because I'm clearly not good at following COD Mobile news. But what did you think of it?
It felt like the custom zombie map that we played years and years ago.
I was thinking that too.
At World at War. Yeah. When I was watching Dalek's video and he just like, we've never gone outside. I'm like, you're right.
I have,
but
I definitely thought about that too, and I think that might be. I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but I think that might be one of the first times we've ever played together and interacted. You can find it on both of our channels probably, but we did a Black Ops 1 custom map that was a reimagining of Nacht that opened up a few different areas. Was that a map that you had Roll-On Math like help develop, or that you like suggested he develop?
No, I don't think that was one of ours, because we were doing additional Easter eggs. We did Ascension and I believe another one. There was also a World at War one I played as well. There's been multiple custom zombie maps.
It might have been a World at War that we played, but we definitely played one together years ago.
Yes, I mean, it's like, and also no clipping affects this as well, because I feel like I've explored normal Nacht on every iteration of it, thanks to PC, no clipping around, and God mode and all that. So the cool news is, for mobile, for a little time, you don't have to deal with no clipping. You don't have to do mods. You do, for the average consumer, they do get a chance to finally explore outside Nacht der Untoten. So I think that's a nice silver lining.
Well, I thought about this, and I'm like, okay, of all our Nacht der Untoten iterations, and there's a lot, this one might be the best one.
Really?
Like, so think of it like this. Ignore the original Nacht, okay?
Yeah.
And only think about remakes and reimaginings and re-releases.
Yeah.
You have Black Ops 1, which is basically the same thing, but with a thunder gun.
And harder.
And a little bit harder. Yeah, and the rounds last normal length. Then you have Transit, which quite frankly is a waste to ever go to, because like it's out of the way. There's nothing there. It's pretty small. It's only one room. Then we get it again in Zombie Chronicles. And this one is, the Zombie Chronicles one is fun because you had the addition of gobble guns, which kind of break it. And so that allowed us to play Nacht in a way that was never playable before, which was basically just gobble gums and have a field day, turn it into a theme park.
Yep.
Then we get it again in Revelations. Actually, it should go Revelations and then Nacht.
Gotcha.
And Revelations was interesting because they reimagined it a little bit, and it was basically how you got to pack a punch. And part of that little ledge area was open in that scene.
Yeah, it was more utility based.
Yeah, exactly. Like it felt more utility. It was like the center of a hub world, basically.
Yes.
It was the hub world. And then, is that the last appearance? Was there an appearance in Black Ops 4?
No, I thought Black Ops 4 was the first time it didn't show up. And Greg does point out there is a jet gun part in Transit, so that is fair.
Well, that's
fair.
No, well, I thought about that in my head, but I just didn't mention it because I'm like, who the fuck builds a jet gun? No, I thought about that. No, but thank you for pointing that out, Greg.
That is fair. Because the internet always gets you.
Yeah, but so those I think are all the iterations of Nacht, and the only one to me that feels noteworthy and feels fresh is the Black Ops 3 one. And the only reason it feels fresh is because gobblegums allow you to break it. This one, however, I think is the best one because not only does it add features that haven't been there before, like say Pack-a-Punch and perks, but it also adds Easter eggs and new areas, multiple like new different pathways to go through.
Yeah.
I think it feels fresh. It reminds me a little bit of a Black Ops 4. You know how Black Ops 4 love to do the reimaginings?
Yes.
Like that, but toned down a little bit.
Yeah, because it's mobile.
Yeah, because it's mobile. So I just think in terms of like effort and quality and feeling like you've played something before, like if you're looking for that original Nacht der Untoten feel, you're not going to get it here. But I don't mind that because we've already seen Nacht der Untoten 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should also mention Nacht der Untoten was previously available on the last like mobile zombies app as well.
Yes.
And that was your basic standard Nacht der Untoten. So I would go as far as say I think this is the best iteration of Nacht we've seen since its original.
I haven't played it, so I won't hit it that hard, but on paper, it sounds right to me, John. I mean, as soon as you spawn in, Pack-a-Punch is there. That's pretty great. I mean, that already elongates your game.
I was surprised. Well, Pack-a-Punch was something I think COD Mobile desperately needed because if you played for a little while, the guns start to feel useless. And I actually really like what they did with Pack-a-Punch on this map, where you have like it reminds me of the Exo Zombie Pack-a-Punch. Remember, Exo Zombies had like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, so forth.
Up 25.
Where you can keep doing the same thing, except it gets. I don't know if it has a limit. I've seen people play it and get pretty high with the Pack-a-Punch. Like I've seen people have it all the way up to like Pack-a-Punch 10 or whatever, and each one gets progressively a little more expensive. But like it was cool. Like in theory, if you can continuously and endlessly Pack-a-Punch your weapons, then the weapons should never get too stale. Like they should never feel useless.
I think
that was a problem I think COD Mobile had.
Yes, and we've seen it executed poorly, like in Exo Zombies, because they still fell off after X amount of rounds.
Yeah,
that's something to play with.
So Exo Zombies felt a little bit pointless because every upgrade was like 2,500. I think it went all the way up to Mark 25, or it went to 20.
It was 20, but the Easter egg. Yeah,
and then jump into 25. But it was basically you might as well have just said, you can Pack-a-Punch your gun once for 20 times $2,500. You know, whatever that comes out. I think it's like $50,000 in total.
Yeah. So just do it all at once because you're not really getting the bonus. You're better off getting perks or whatnot. So I wonder if that's something that the Zombies gameplay could really benefit from, because we've been doing this for over 10 years now. How tired are we that almost the entire selection of guns slowly diminishes over the time you play the game? Obviously, it's survival based, but upgrade systems haven't seemed to keep pace for high rounders and for the way the game has evolved. Especially, we're looking at Easter eggs that take you into round 30. I mean, originally, round 17 was supposed to be the starting point for Blood of the Dead. It's a bit crazy to not have the upgrade systems going along. You may argue specialist weapons, but I mean, now that's a different brand.
When you also consider that when we previously had like changes to the upgrade system, and those were your like elemental effects, not elemental, but like fireworks and brains and all that shit. They have the issue where they have just infinite damage and they occur randomly. It doesn't feel like an upgrade when the damage, or it doesn't feel like an upgrade that progresses with the rounds when it just automatically jumps you to infinite damage. You know?
Yes. Then it feels like insta kill or something's wrong or broken. So that's something that would be probably very difficult to find too.
And because it's random. So like I'll spray a horde of zombies and maybe one of those shots in an entire mag turns into like dead wire. And then shock 6 of them. And that's going to work on round 30, and it's going to work on round 50, and it's going to work on round 100. And if I have the gobble gum that makes that effect come more often, then it's going to be even more powerful. But because you're instantly because the way the upgrade system basically goes, you go from, I don't know what Pack-a-Punch actually is, but let's say double damage to then infinite damage. It's too steep an increase.
Yeah, and it's a little jarring for the player to be going there, but that might be the cheap and dirty solution, like you just said. Just bring back elementals that can do that infinite damage, because I bet you could have the numbers show you, hey, that's well and good, but most players, based on our Treyarch statistics, don't go past round 25. So why would we bother investing all this money in upgrade systems that most players will never even touch? So that would be probably a counter argument I could hear, that maybe you want the upgrade system, well, you're not getting the CGI cutscenes. It's like, oh, dude. Okay, real quick sidebar.
Pick and choose.
I showed my sister the ending of Zombies, some of the cutscene stuff, and she's like, what is this? She's like, you dear, question me, because she tried to show me My Hero Academia. I was giving her garbage about anime and animation, and I thought she was showing me an anime fight that was like super amazing animation. And then after bullshitting me for about 10 minutes, they didn't even fucking animate the fight. And I was giving her so much shit for not animating it.
Did they just do that scene where the guy has the sword and just goes, whoosh, pulls it in and out?
Basically type of crap. It was like if you ever played Bayonetta or saw Bayonetta, where all of a sudden you're jarred where it's not animated anymore, and it's just like it's showing a picture and the voice acting is going on, but they're holding a picture and it's slowly moving, but not like growing nose Alpha Omega. So I saw my sister like Alpha Omega and Tag der Untoten, or Tag der Untoten, and she's like, how dare you question me, Reed? You think this shit's good? This is horrible. This is crap. And I have it on Twitch and everything. I'm like, uh-huh. And you could see you could hear. I could see her doing the math, and also she's like, oh, wait. You don't think it's good? I'm like, no, Ashley, I don't. And she's like, oh no! And you can see someone who has been hands off and who really loved this stuff from like Doris. Like that's when she was involved, was World at War and BO1, and then seeing how things have come around. And I'm like, see this intro from Blood of the Dead to what we got in Tag der Untoten? She was just dumbstruck. She's like, I don't want to see this. I want to remember zombies like they were. She was treating it like Grandpa's not okay, and I want to remember Grandpa when he was a good person and not out of his mind and unhealthy and sick. The thing when Stuhlinger goes to the camera and does the quick turn? That's when it was all over. That's when we were done. No more progress could be made. That's when she tapped out. So, yeah. Sorry about that sidebar. So back to zombies when you're picking and choosing what you want to do. Nacht der Untoten, I think, is a really interesting mobile attempt. I mean, we're all sick to death of Nacht der Untoten, but I think it's going to do its job. I think
I think if you were going to re-release Nacht for what is, I'm just going to guess, the 6th time, it's about as good as you could do.
Yeah.
They add new areas.
Yep.
They add, and honestly, I think it was a welcomed addition, because there's one thing to add new areas for the sake of adding new areas.
Yep.
Like you added a bit of Zetsubo to Shinonuma.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really affect the flow of the gameplay at all.
Yeah.
But this new area actually opens up Nacht to training.
Yes.
Because Nacht is not a map that you can train in Nacht.
You can.
But it takes actually a little bit of
the best players. Yeah, the best players.
Yeah, the best players can train in Nacht. And
the
it takes skill.
trains.
And that skill bar gets even higher when you're playing on mobile controls. But by creating a whole new outdoor area that's a little bit more open, it gives you that option to train. So not only does it add new areas that refresh the map, but also can change how you play it and makes it more accessible to your average player.
I would say,
so like hats off to the Nacht. It's really just the COD Mobile Zombies team. I thought they did a wonderful job with Nacht.
Yeah, and they're also bringing in those coin system as well that are doing those modifiers to the gameplay, something I've talked about multiple times now in a row, I believe, on the podcast, of how much I enjoyed the masks and the abilities to wear stuff to add modifiers to your players. I think that's definitely the direction Zombies at least can play with a little bit, or needs to jump into or lean into a little more. I like seeing that this knock feels different because there's new areas, like you said. There's cute little Easter egg. You open up a room and they reward you for blowing up all the barrels. I
like that. That was a nice little reference to the barrels of original.
Yeah, so tons of really cool stuff. New ways to play the game. A perk system in there that just makes it a lot easier than screwing around with Wonder Fizz. It's pretty nice. And I see a debate that's going on in chat. We had this debate. And we settled it when Quinn told us the hardest map to play was Nacht der Untoten BO1. And they're going in chat between World at War and BO1 right now. by far, I believe we both agreed on this because we both tried it out. BO1 Nacht der Untoten is the hardest zombies map. We couldn't get to round 20. We couldn't get to round 20 no matter how many times we tried.
I agree with that.
We've done this.
I absolutely remember this debate, and I admit
Yeah.
I don't remember the conclusion of the debate or what side I was on.
We both were like, God damn, he was right. Not shocking, the gameplay guy was right about gameplay.
I just remember I'm really inclined to say World at War because of how sticky the zombies are. Like
Right.
somebody took the zombies and bathed them in Elmer's glue before every match. Because but like Black Ops, you can kind of like juke a little, and if you flick your screen around a couple times, like the zombies have a hard time hitting you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess Nacht on Black Ops 1 is absolutely hard. But for some reason, I'm just inclined to lean World at War because of the way the zombies get sticky.
You still get 2 hit on BO1, right?
Yeah.
So you still have the 2-hit problem, even though you have Mule Kick and a Thunder Gun. You don't have the flamethrower. I think the zombies might be
more inclined to hit you.
Yeah, the windmilling is way worse too, and you have no jump.
Here's I think the crux of the debate.
Mm-hmm.
In Black Ops 1, you have rounds that last really long.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas World at War, you have rounds that are 24 zombies. So like the World at War record on Nacht is
substantially
like 1,000 something.
Yeah, it's way up there. It might even be more than that.
But the World at War record for Nacht on Black Ops 1 is, I forget. It's I think probably like the 70s or something. So maybe if you want to debate what's the map that's hardest to get to a high round, World at War Nacht. But if you want to have or Black Ops 1 Nacht, but if you want to have a debate of what map is harder to play over a longer period of time,
yes,
I'm inclined to believe World at War.
That is an interesting and better measurement of. I like that idea of let's take it by time. Let's measure it. How long can you continue to play it? Versus what round you get to.
Funny enough,
it's a much better.
This is a video. Comparison. What people don't know about my channel is I usually have 4 or 5 videos in development at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of pick up and stop and start videos every so often. Like, for example, you guys will see a video coming out this week. Reed, I've already told you about this, that yes. I have had on the back burner for about 6 months now. And so I actually I've done this research before where I wanted to make a map and say quantitatively, what is the hardest map in zombies? I'll send you Reed my notes.
Yeah.
Tell me if you have access to this document.
No, I got to switch accounts because I'm signed in. I'm defaulted.
Don't switch accounts. Try this one.
Okay. Defaulted with. Okay, cool. I can see this.
So if you look at these notes, and I have a script. I wrote a script along. I wrote the notes out, and then I wrote a script to go alongside with it. I'm not going to send you the script because you don't want to read that.
Okay. Yeah,
but I went in and found like. What are the maps that have like what are their highest rounds?
1558.
Time. What are different things include like are on the map? And I even for some of them. So if you go to the World at War section,
yeah.
So go to like see the category lowest highest round by game.
Yeah.
So I broke it up by game, and then I went in by map. If you go to World at War, so you have your records for Deriz, Verrucht, and Nacht.
Yeah.
And you'll see, so Deriz is 142.
Yep.
Verrucht is 138.18. Nacht is 155.58.
Mm-hmm.
But then I put next to it, you'll see the numbers 39, 20, and 22.
Yeah.
And those are how many hours that game took. Now, if you can imagine, in a zombies game, once you get past round 37, the zombie speed and spawn rate doesn't change. So, but in a 39-hour game of zombies, let's say 99% of it is spent past round 37. So everything is the same at that point in terms of spawn rate and difficulty. So in that Nacht game, they were able to survive for 22 hours. In the Verrucht game, they were only able to survive for 20 hours. So in theory, the longest anybody has ever survived on Verrucht is 20 hours. And for that reason, it's 2 hours harder than Nacht. And the longest somebody has ever survived on Deriz is 39 hours.
You meant 2 hours less
or
difficult.
20. Yeah. Verrucht is 2 hours harder than Nacht.
I like this.
I've thought about this before. And I have a whole video script written for this video. I just never made the video yet. But this is something I've thought about a lot.
Chat,
actually.
what would the drawback be trying to measure rounds versus time? Like, in favor of getting to a higher round or surviving a longer duration of time for measuring difficulty in a
I
map?
think it's time.
I think it's time
And
too.
You have to. You
it's
have
so
to, though,
simple.
You have to assume, though, in this situation that you're not dilly dallying. So I'm not wasting an hour spinning the box every round.
Yes.
And that becomes difficult on maps that require boxes. But if you just imagine a game where it's like I'm not really taking breaks in between rounds, I'm just playing continuously, then this measurement works. And sure, you could say, okay, John, but what if it takes me 2 hours to get to round 30? And what if it takes me an hour to get to round 30 on another map? And I think the data actually cleans itself out over the longer the game, the more the time spent on those earlier rounds becomes smaller and smaller as an overall percentage of the run.
I just made a mistake even understanding your data there. You were correct. I didn't mean to correct you. Verrucht is 2 hours harder because they can't last as long in Verrucht.
Exactly.
That's my fault.
Think of it like an endurance challenge.
Yeah. This is why this is so. I can't believe no one's ever put this to me like that before. When measuring difficulty,
measuring time is difficult because you have some variables like how long were you spinning the box.
Yes, it's not a fixed variable.
It's not as easy. It's not as clean as saying I made it to round 200.
Exactly.
But how if I told you the highest round on Verrucht is 1,318, you'd say to me, "Well, why is that? Why is that map considered the hardest of all time?"
Yeah.
And to that, I would say because the longest anybody's ever survived on it is 20 hours. Whereas the longest somebody has survived on Deriz is 39 hours.
In World at War.
Yeah. It's not a perfect measurement.
No, but it's a nice new factor.
If you boil it down to a rounds versus time kind of thing, I think that's actually one of the better ways to determine what the hardest map is.
Yes. Again, you have to take into account inflation. You got to make sure.
And actually, some people, Mad Lobster says some maps take more time on higher rounds than others, and I don't think that matters because the way zombies work is you kill a horde of zombies, and then they spawn in. And this continues. This is an endless cycle. Yeah. Round 1,000 is no different from round 2,000. Mm-hmm. So you're basically continuously getting this cycle of zombies. So even if the rounds take longer, by basing it off of time, you've boiled down some of those factors.
Yeah, you're removing the need to even matter about what round. You can take rounds away.
Because it's a lot easier to go through rounds on Verrucht than it is to go through... It's a lot easier to go through rounds on World at War Verrucht than it is to go through rounds on Nacht Verrucht. So how do you determine which map is harder, Black Ops 1 or World at War Verrucht? You see what's the longest somebody's ever survived in a high round run.
Mm-hmm. Time rounds plus time per round. I think that would be a great... near perfect way of measuring it, because time per round can show you if they're consistently at a certain time, then all of a sudden, it's way longer. There's the inflation of them screwing around for a round.
But don't consider screwing around for a round, because because what you got to remember too is the people who are doing this, they're trying to get through as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And you can watch in those streams, all those streams are basically online, most of them.
Yep.
These guys aren't being like, hey, let's just dick around and run in a circle for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving through the rounds. They want to get done.
Sure.
So because this is a self-selecting sample size, like the only people that are making these runs are the best zombie players.
Yes.
You automatically raise the bar and knock out the people who are just dicking around.
That's fair.
Because your casual schmuck who's just fucking around
they're not going to get there. They're not even going to get to. That's almost like the thresholds. Like, are they? What's the ceiling? Like Greg just brought up Call of the Dead. There is even a record to 100. Yes, exactly.
Greg brought up Black Ops 1's Call of the Dead, and there's two things going on there. One, spawns, but also your ability to kill the zombies. Yeah. You lose the ability to kill the zombies after like round 40 without having to constantly cycle through
36, the scavenger stops working.
Well, roughly.
Yeah, roughly.
Whatever it may be. Then you got to start cycling through multiple scavengers just to kill a single wave of 24 zombies.
Yeah.
So the world record for... Actually, we can just look this up right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
The world record for Verrucht might be like 80. 70. I think it is in the 70s. But if that game lasted like 80 hours, then I would absolutely say it's a lot harder than Verrückt.
To
Or a
your
lot
point,
easier than Verrückt.
to your point about professionals, like you're clearing out the people who aren't even the people dicking around. You can literally look to be like the top 1% of rounds. That's where rounds could still be an excellent measurement. Be like, okay, on Call of the Dead, who's past round 40? Like we
Yeah.
start there, and that's gonna
Oh
clear out all the
so
nonsense.
the round gives you your sample.
Yeah. Oh, this is so
and
cool.
then the time is what you use to differentiate the players.
They cycle
Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect.
Flopper.
So I'm looking at the World at War. So the World at War, not the World at War. The Call of the Dead world record is held by Mackin Rules, and it is round 88. And just looking at the timer that he has in the top left, again, this goes to my point that the people who are doing these records are trying to get through as fast as possible, evident by the timer. It is 69 hours. So if the longest somebody has ever survived on Verrückt is 20 hours, and the longest somebody has ever survived on Call of the Dead is 69 hours, or round that to 70, that's roughly 3.5 times easier. So I boiled this down to a science. I'd be curious to see if any. I don't believe that this is a thing that you can nail down to one formula or one number. I think there is a human element to it, a little bit of discretion, being like, yeah, well, let's also remember that the World at War zombies are pretty sticky. And let's also remember that Call of the Dead has a massively wide open training area.
Yeah, and then if you also then re-examine which you want to go make it even more difficult, what maps are the hardest for the majority of players, that because they only go from rounds 1 to 20. So what maps are the most difficult from rounds 1 to 20? That would be another
I think that's a whole nother debate.
That's a completely different measurement.
Yeah, I think you can't measure what map is the hardest from 1 to 20 in the same way that you can with this metric. Absolutely. I think this metric of time is a really good way to split the margins. And Greg also makes an excellent point as well. World at War, you get one chance. So actually, think of zombies. To add to Greg's point, think of zombies like a game of probability. At any time, you have an X% chance of dying. And the higher that number is, it would indicate the harder that map is to play, you know? And so if you have multiple lives, then what you can basically do is multiply that survival percentage by the number of lives you had. Or actually, no. If you multiply by the power of whatever lives you have, that should indicate your survivability. So let's say you have a 25% chance of dying on this map.
Yes.
And you have 3 lives, so 0.25 times 0.25 times 0.25 gives you your odds of dying and completely getting a game over in this moment.
Interesting.
So if you do that, so in Nacht, because you only have 1 life, you don't get that benefit of multiplying your survivability percentage 3 times by itself. And that then mathematically makes it harder.
I wonder if that's our future of the community. As I've seen zombies now die down, as it seems to be passed on, I checked the zombie Reddit, and that was startling to see how different the zombie Reddit is today. I haven't checked it probably in about 5 months, and that was a big like, whoa, this is not how I remember things. And it's not that it's bad or worse or anything like that. It's just, it's quiet. It's just like not a lot going on. There's one post that I did like apparently this month. There's a Filthy Frank, who I was running in front of the green screen. I did send it to you. Okay. I loved it. I just, I can't believe how great Filthy Frank's doing, by the way.
Jay Creations asked me, how do you calculate the chance you're going to die? You don't. It's kind of, that's why I said it's like X. It's kind of one of those numbers you don't know, but you can get a sense of it, So let's say your odds of dying at a given moment are, let's say 10% when you're training in the biodome. But your odds of dying suddenly rise up to maybe 20% if the biodome suddenly loses oxygen. and then your odds of dying at a single moment running through the tunnels is 30% of moon. Running through the tunnels of moon is 30%. And then you tack on the fact that you don't have Juggernog, and then it jumps to 50%. If you imagine, like, if you put yourself in this situation 100 times, how many times are you going to die? That's how, in theory, you could calculate this this probability, but it's not a number you could ever know definitely with certainty, just because it's so difficult to calculate. You can only get a sense of it, which situations are harder to survive than others. And it's not just the situation, but also your skill. So this is a multi-variable equation.
Do you think this is potentially where a portion of the community might be working towards? As Lobster brought up earlier, there's a big renaissance of custom zombies going on right now, and this analysis is amazing. This seems like to be stuff that would be used for the speedrunners on both Easter eggs and speedrunners of high rounds, getting deep into the analytics of zombies. Now, I want to bring up a point because this is something I've been watching go on. I always follow speedrunners in the speedrunning Reddit. I love speedrunning a lot, and I wish I could get more into it. But for zombies, I always wanted to, but the last game turned me off to it. But Ocarina of Time was something that has had this explosion recently that is now sub 10 minutes because of glitches, exploits, and things they figured out. I wonder if zombies is going to have that progression where it's thought to be impossible to get past a certain thing, like most people thought. That you never get a sub 1 hour time. And all of a sudden, with people digging in deep like this, John, creating formulas and analyzing the game itself, new opportunities unfold for this game, and things that we never thought possible are.
I don't think so, and here's why.
Yeah, go for it.
So obviously in speedrunning communities, they always are looking for an edge, the latest efficiency. And once they find one that's a breakthrough, suddenly minutes are being dropped off times, or suddenly impossible barriers are being broken.
Yeah,
that's always going to happen.
True.
But I think this hard analytical approach to it is not something that will ever be a thing in the community, because it's something it's one of those things that I think people innately know, but have never thought about in a formal mathematical way. Like, the reason I'm doing it is because I'm a numbers nerd, and I'm also 4 years into an engineering degree, and I've taken classes on statistics, and a lot of computer science work is about efficiencies and probabilities and all this. So this is I think something that's niche to me, and it's not that I'm a genius and look at me, I'm so smart, but it's that I just happen to be a guy with a microphone also taking a degree in computer science. And there's other people in this community that have probably thought about this way too. They just don't have a microphone. And I don't think this information is actually that useful, because again, it's something people inherently know. They just have never quantified it in mathematical terms and statistical terms.
Okay, that's like, a very fair. That's very fair.
You have a better chance of survival inside the biodome than, say, you do running in Tunnel 11.
Yeah, and you don't need a mathematical thesis to tell you that.
You don't need to be an engineer to figure that out. But and you're doing this cost value, or this, like, what's the word? Cost I don't know.
Oh no, that's totally, it's an economics word.
Everybody's doing this cost value analysis.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
You're doing this. Yes. Everybody's doing this cost value analysis in their head. They're saying to themselves, I can survive in the biodome comfortably, but the rounds are going to take me forever. I could survive in Tunnel 11. It's going to be quite difficult, and I might die, but I can get to round 50 in 2 hours. And you have to say to yourself, based on your skill as well as your experience, which one is better for you. Right. Everybody's doing that calculation all the time.
It's only
but very few people are ever quantifying it into mathematical terms. So because everybody's already doing it, I don't think it actually brings much value to discuss it out loud.
I think only for world record holders and the people that are shooting for the top, they care about the addition of saving 2 seconds over 6 hours. 2 seconds every 10 minutes over 6 hours.
Yeah.
They care about that. But that's again,
actually,
it's
in that application, I think it is actually important.
Yeah. But it's for them.
But they're already doing it.
Exactly.
You know,
Your
because
point.
once somebody, because if you look and you watch some of these world record runs or these speed runs to round 50 and stuff, they're training in places that you might have never considered training before, but the spawns are really efficient. So once somebody finds a new efficient spawn, then they're going to do that. But I doubt you'll ever see any. Once somebody finds a new efficient spawn, everybody's going to start to do it.
Exactly.
But I doubt you'll ever see somebody like me doing the cost benefit analysis and going over like probability statistics.
Yeah, that makes sense. You see Greg's point in chat there? That's a really cool. I didn't know about that new save, if that's a thing. Example of zombie type time saves is finding out Takio doesn't have a quote after blowing up the moon on DE. So every player beats Takio. Every player besides Takio downs to get the faster cutscene.
Yeah,
probably.
So people are already finding
downs.
this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
even
people are
more
finding this and they know it, and this is a natural process of the speedrunning community, and this is what they essentially this is how they thrive. It's by finding these little things.
That's so cool.
Like that's their bread and butter. But you don't need somebody with an engineering degree to do that.
Exactly. But I think it's interesting, and I think there's definitely a place for content, and I think there's a place in the community to dive into this type of stuff. I mean, it's sort of like the histories, all those history documentaries on Mario Sunshine and Melee,
basically just
Break the Targets.
People are already doing it.
Yeah.
Well, Victoria had for a long time world record history series. Now I think that was more dedicated to high round runs.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's in the same vein as I've seen those Mario Sunshine documentaries too, where it's like
they're great.
Yeah, really good. If somebody out there wants to become a content creator, that's a niche that is open right now.
Yeah. Oh, Zombies is perfect, man. Right now, Zombies is wide open. You got a few players killing it right now, but most people have dipped out of the market. If there's something that you're not burnt out about Zombies, I think there's a perfect opportunity with BO5 around the corner. I think things are going to turn the corner for Call of Duty Treyarch for some reason. Unless I hear specialist weapons are back and they didn't change or improve systems, which I think they're going to shake things up again. They learned what worked and what didn't work in the previous game, and I think they're going to make massive strides. We're only a few months away, so we'll get a better look at the reveal. What are we, 3 months away from getting a reveal, John? April? 2 months away.
April.
2 months away.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or May if they do make. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It's like we'll get the Black Ops 5 reveal, but do we get the Zombies reveal? You know, like Treyarch, they don't make the rules, or they don't have rules.
Yeah.
They do whatever they want. This has been a wonderful discussion. Yeah. I know we were originally talking about Nacht, so do we want to just sum up Nacht real fast and then move on to our next topic?
Yeah, sure.
So I think Nacht, my final statement, love the addition of the perks. Pack-a-Punch, I think, is... I would say it was they chose the easy option of just endless upgrades, but I think it was the right option.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the new expandable area, especially with like the walking around the crash plane and stuff. I thought it was great.
Yep.
Overall, I give a resounding 2 thumbs up to the Zombies team on COD Mobile. Like, it's not like they're really hitting home runs, knocking things out of the park, but they're doing all the little things right that add up to a nice sum.
Very much agree. And because expectations are so low for COD Mobile, they're doing everything right for what the product is. Because I can hear people being like, how can you ever give 2 thumbs up to Nacht der Untoten on mobile, but then be upset with a full-fledged map like Tag der Untoten or Blood of the Dead or whatever you want?
It's all about context. And I'll tell you,
very different.
It's also very hard to get 2 thumbs up out of me when it comes to another Nacht. Because we've already seen 6 different Nocts, and we've already been inundated with so many reimaginings that because the bar is low and the context is different, and I felt they actually made some really nice improvements, I'm able to give a thumbs up to this reimagining. But would bemoan Treyarch if their next map was another reimagining.
Oh God, yeah, and yes. And I give it a thumbs up. I can't give it 2 thumbs up because I'm sick and tired of Nacht der Untoten, but they did an excellent job. They really did. I like the new systems. It plays differently. It plays like a custom map, and that's a good thing for COD Mobile. That's not a good thing for Treyarch. For getting new experiences and playing new things on a handheld device that you can download for free. That's such a different barrier to entry than when we buy in the super special edition or even $60, and then we have to buy all these extra map packs or season passes. it changes the context that is so important to the enjoyment of these maps. Very few people, besides brand new fresh gamers, are coming in, which there's probably actually, so that's probably fair. Only fresh players don't come in with the context problems of knowing the story, playing previous maps, and having all the other issues that came along.
And also, this map has, I forgot to mention too, this map has radio scattered throughout. That one, give you clues on the Easter egg, but also give you a little bit of the story.
That's neat.
I think it's hugely important, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, think of it like a custom map.
Yeah.
Because we don't judge custom maps the same way we judge Treyarch maps.
No, we do not.
And when custom maps come close to representing the quality of the worst Treyarch maps, we praise them, deservedly so.
I get, right, but what is that big common thing between this and those custom maps? They're free. They're free. That's such that changes the expectation so drastically. And you don't have as many people working on it, and you don't have marketing and $1 billion budget or whatever it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Easter egg. That was dope.
I know.
Did you see that?
Which one?
Nacht der Untoten's Easter egg?
Okay, yeah.
Was that cool?
Really cool.
That surprised me because the teaser they put online made me cringe. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And then this turned out to be really cool. There's the Don't Freeze Easter egg that was in Nacht der Untoten that nobody seemed to find. And that seemed super obvious. Just go to 10 different pools of water. I think there's only 10, and you got to freeze in them. And then once you freeze and knife your way out, then a button appears in spawn. You press the button, it teleports you to around 200, and then you're fighting and locked in spawn until you die, or until round 200's over. We've had a round 200 Easter egg like we did in Alpha Omega, so now it was there's round 200.
John made a good point in the video.
Yeah.
You linked me John's video on this topic, so I watched that when he was. I wonder how many other maps have around 200 that we just haven't found yet.
Yes. Let me go grab.
Could quite possibly be. I liked it. You know what it made me think about though?
What?
I'm not sure I've ever frozen in Call of the Dead or Nacht der Untoten.
I have.
I don't think I have. In fact, I didn't even know. And I've played Call of the Dead a million times. I did not know that you get stuck in ice and you just knife your way out.
Oh wow!
I just assumed you went down.
Oh wow!
Well, because I've always just been like, well, I don't want to freeze, and I don't want to find out what happens when I freeze because I'm in the middle of a zombies game and I don't feel like losing a quick revive.
Yes.
Like it's never happened accidentally because they give you plenty of time, and I've never been like, yeah, I'm gonna test it because I just assumed you went down. I didn't know that. I feel silly. You know, and it's not like it's just John hasn't played much Knock. No, I didn't even know this in Call of the Dead because I've just never frozen before.
Yeah,
it's a fun fact about me.
That's great. I mean, I got it many times no clipping. Funny enough, when I was screwing around, you end up freezing anyway, even if you're no clipped in the wrong place or George is yelling at you.
I've no clipped in Call of the Dead a number of times. I haven't had that issue.
Maybe I haven't. No, I think you're right. I might have no clipped over and then dropped myself in a place where they can't. Where they couldn't get me. Because I know I've had that association, but I think I remembered that wrong. I think you're completely right there. But yeah, I'm showing you.
Funny though, I've never in game ever just frozen.
Yeah, you should try it sometime. Go put God mode on and just be like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, it's just funny like those little things. It's like
and
it sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. Yeah, I've never frozen in TOG or Call of the Dead. But when you think about it, you know, who the hell's out there like, yeah, let me chest this. Let me waste one of my 3 quick revives.
Yes. Actually, you don't go down. Do you know that?
No, I always just thought you did. That's my point. I thought you did. You just freeze and then you knife your way out.
Yeah. Okay, good. Just double checking.
But they've given me enough time to always get out, and I've never wanted to test fate.
Gotcha. Do you also know a feature of this is the fact that once you activate the round, you always have to keep moving. It's sort of like the cranked mode. So even if you're not in the water, you're going to be freezing anyway. It's fun. It definitely plays on the map.
I thought it was a great idea, and I'm
very
like,
clever.
Like obviously it's in the game, so it exists, and you can play whatever you want. But there's a time it's like, they should have also just made this a little fun extra game mode. Throw it in.
Yeah, why not? Well, maybe so you don't have to struggle at round 200.
No, do it. Put the whole thing in, but just make it like, just put it in the menu.
All right, yeah. So you
I
don't
was
have to
like,
jump through everything.
I'm like, it could have been a fun thing just to throw in the menu so that everybody knows about it. But it also is a nice little fun Easter egg.
That's fair. Yeah.
Maybe now that people have found it, make it an option.
Yeah, they might, and I think that might almost be why they teased it. I feel like they worked on this and like, hey,
And they're like, fuck, nobody
Hey!
found it.
come on.
Yeah. No, I
Play our
definitely think that's
game.
what happened, where nobody found it, and they're like, okay, let's give them a nudge.
Make sure to check out John's videos. Just want to show his video footage, and again, Mr. Dalek JD there.
John is like the official footage provider.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks, he's been killing it.
Only,
of all that
but it's
stuff.
it's not like because John is actually the official footage provider, but it's because he's one of the few people making this content.
Yeah, it's still doing it and getting it.
It's like, oh, there's a new Easter egg. Let me go check out John's channel because I'm sure he's got like
he's
a video
one of the few that's still doing it. I'm sure Greg is probably one of the other guys too.
Shout out to John for the free advertising.
Yeah, good for you.
The official gameplay provider of the Zombros podcast, and he doesn't even know it.
That's great.
Yeah, let's talk this Roses one. Cause I wanna give a shout out to John for this one too.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And boy, oh boy, hearing the audio from that panel brought me back.
I had well, before we go into that, I wanna ask John a question. John, if you're watching this video, I couldn't help but notice your title said "New Revelations Easter egg solved 1,230 days later." And my question for you is, do you realize what you've signed up for? Because now you need to update this title every single day, or it's wrong. you know? Like this video was uploaded January 19th. How many days have passed since January 19th? We have 12.
But does he really need to?
2. Yes, otherwise it's false information. This Easter egg is not 1,230 days old.
But
this
from
Easter
the video when it was posted and it's archived.
This video is now, let's see, 11 plus 1 plus 2, 13, 14. This video is 1,243 days old or 44 days old. That math is probably
But it wasn't
wrong.
solved those 14 days later.
I don't know. I think unless John updates this title every day, this is false advertising and
I'm not on John's side here.
Of the worst kind.
Johnny J25, I think you're reading it wrong.
I want to see the guy with a year later, guy with the calendar looking through, be like, the fuck? No, this is 1,530 days later, like a year later.
This is heinous.
How dare you, Mr. Dalek JD? No, because I am guilty. I am guilty as charged, and I think I might have been the one, or maybe one of the early people to pioneer this title tactic of.
I think you're
8
reading
years
it wrong.
later, 5 years later, and now it's come to the point where we're going by days because that number sounds more impressive.
New Revelation Easter egg solved 1,230 days later. Doesn't that imply from a given date, exactly 1,230 days later, it was solved? You wouldn't need to update it.
Okay. Well, if we go by these semantics, maybe.
Maybe you should just shut up, Reed. This is funny.
This is comedy, Reed. No, I just think, John, you might need to. I'm not sure he realized by making this title, he signed up to update it every single day. No, I'm just having fun.
I know.
No, but the video was really good. And the roses, when he was talking about the COD XP event, I had a moment. I'm like, was I at this event? I was at this event.
Yeah.
Did I hear this? I'm like, and then I'm like, I don't remember this at all. And then he had the audio, which I didn't even know the audio existed, and he played some.
Yeah, I don't think we were allowed to record. I'm pretty sure. Which apparently,
I wasn't going to say that.
Oh, I don't remember. So I could be wrong. So
I thought the same thing too. I'm like, I remember this being like closed door.
If he made it public, I mean, he made his bet. But I can't.
I'm going to let's pretend we were allowed to record, and we just didn't know. I wasn't going to say anything. I didn't know this audio existed though. And I'm sure Treyarch released it, and that's how John got it. But I had a moment where I'm like, I don't remember him talking about roses at all. And then he played it, and I'm
I was
like, I don't remember that sentence, but I probably heard it, and it went whoosh, right over my head.
I rememred it exactly. As soon when he started playing it, I was like, oh my god! It took me back. I was right in the room again.
I had one of those out of body experiences where I'm like, I was definitely there. Don't remember this.
Oh my god, I was right there. I saw Milo over in the corner. He was near the front, and then I believe his money talks, and you were near me. I thought.
Yeah. Well, we should mention this wasn't like a closed door YouTubers only thing.
No,
this was like
COD XP.
COD XP. If you showed up to the event at this time, it was at COD XP. Show up by 12:30. Door closes at 12:45. You know, that kind of thing. First, however, in. No, I don't remember a thing from that moment. I couldn't tell you where in the room I was. Couldn't tell you a word that was said that day.
I thought you were like on my left side.
I don't know.
I remember Milo got into an argument. Not like an argument.
Me and Milo?
No. Milo and Jason on the panel.
There's a photo from that event. I have a weird out of body experience with that event where it was like I was definitely there. There's a photo to prove it. I have the posters to prove it, but I can't tell you a single detail or a single conversation moment. It all left me.
I feel that.
So hearing that audio, I had a real out of body experience where I was trying to remember moments for that event and I couldn't.
Yeah, no, I had a visceral experience where I'm like, I don't want to go back to this. I'm good. Don't do that. I'm good. I don't need to relive all that event. Just give me the highlights.
Yeah. But really, yeah, nobody, as far as I know, nobody in the circle of people I've listened to ever mentioned, hey, why does Richtofen only have roses on his grave?
Yeah, I'm sure it was mentioned, by the way, on launch when everybody was
somebody brought it up in conversation.
There's no doubt.
It never stuck with me, and being a story guy, I could tell you whether or not a point stuck with the community.
But it makes sense in that context. That's truly what they meant. And we know how Jason and Craig, to me, at least, from my point of view, it seems like they see things from the end.
They got it. And because they know the whole picture is obvious
to them. And they are always looking at it from the end backwards, from where completing the story to where we look at it going forward through the end of it, where a lot of these things that seem abundantly obvious to them are so obscure to us because we don't have that. To them, one of the first things they talk about is, so Richtofen's dying. We know we've already planned out that Richtofen's going to give his life, probably in Origins, as he said in the past, that they had things pretty generally outlined, and then a little better in BO3. So, definitely sometime in BO3, they had, we know this major Blood of the Dead beat is going to happen. We are certain this is going to happen. Maybe not even at Blood of the Dead, but we know we're going to do this. And then the details have taken shape over 3 or 4 years or 5 years. And that to us doesn't, if Blood of the Dead comes out before Revelations, seeing the roses on Richtofen's grave is instant. We can instantly know, I get it. I get that. That's so obvious. And then with Craig saying, you'll understand these things later on. Yeah. To me, and then he pulled that's such typical, talk.
And then John later in the video has a segment from a little interview Jason did with Noah, where they're talking about, Jason was even saying, he's like, people, they just don't see things into us. It's so obvious. And, part of it, I think, is that there's so much that things are hidden in plain sight. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that is also a way of obfuscation where you just throw so much in that things get lost. And I think that's how we do miss things like that.
Yeah.
Where I think people say, there's roses on the grave. But back to the Easter egg.
Exactly. Exactly.
Back to the more pressing matter.
But I thought that was really cool Easter egg, and I really enjoyed the little touch and coming all 1,280 days later and change. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But John, you got to update that title every day.
So those were the major topics. You want to get into topic time? Did you ping him for topic time? I don't think you did.
I didn't ping for topic time.
Go ping for topic time. I'll go read the donations because we got a whole bunch of them. You guys are wonderful.
Use the bathroom. Can I ping for topic time?
Yeah, then go to the bathroom and I'll read my donations. Yeah.
Okay, bet.
That'll be fine.
Ping for topic time.
Go ping for top time. He's gonna ping topic time. How many times can we repeat this before everybody tunes out? Those same words. I am Rad Austin 27. There I am. embarrassing story to share on stream as well, ish. I was at my pharmacist picking up some stuff. Obviously, it's the pharmacy. And they asked me my name, and I started saying Rad Austin 27 instead of my name. Oh, did I shudder and cringe at myself? God, that was a rough one for me. But I remembered my birthday, so that was the good news. Donation number 1, Mr. Drown donates. So good to see Mr. Drown back at it again. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's good to see you back. Hopefully 2020 has been treating you right with good health and positive vibes. I'm playing Mob with my nephew right now, so I'll tune into the VOD. Stay safe, stay happy, and have an excellent day. We'll have a glorious time with your nephew and have fun. That is a absolutely wonderful and beloved map. And health-wise have been absolute poop for me, but I'm doing my darndest to push through it. Thanks for asking. And John got a little bit of a cold, he told me today, but he was doing well up until that point. The Mad Lobster. Oh, so good to see you, Mad Lobster. Donated $2. He says, greetings, gentlemen. Everyone's so kind to us, calling us gentlemen. It's great seeing Zombros back and better than ever. Looking forward to the year ahead. Stay safe and have a great day. Thank you so much, Mad Lobster, and we will. David Kirk donated 9.99 pounds. As always, you are so consistent, David, and I love to see your donations every stream. What are your hopes for Resident Evil 3? I've got RE2 now. We'll play that, then go straight into the third one. I've never played an RE game straight through. I tried playing RE4, but couldn't get along with the controls. Yeah, RE4 looks really weird to me, by far. Like, I feel like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 are sort of, my type of game, and then everything goes batshit off the rails from Resident Evil 4 to 6, and then 7 sort of got things back on track. Everybody was super happy with it again, and Capcom's really started coming around to everything. So I hope RE3 has enough new areas, or at least makes the reused areas not feel too reused, even though everyone needs to understand that RE3 reuses a ton of RPD in RE2, but a lot of the promotional material, I haven't really seen too much of that. So I'm very excited to see where that goes for Jill and Carlos inside RE3. I'm just looking to have another one of those wonderful experiences playing this game with Resident Evil, because I loved it. It was my game of the year. It was so fun to see what a big change they were able to do. They didn't just remastered it. They recreated Resident Evil, and they made me a fan and got me into the lore and made me want to make posters about them and even post videos. So I'm just hopeful more of that's going to come my way, and excitement through Resident Evil. And I just want to have a good time. Asteroid Delta donates $1.99, says, got a 22-second solving time for the record now. WB, world's best. That's awesome. Delta has been working on his Rubik's Cube solves, and he's been keeping me updated, and that's pretty dope. And Chase Gaming was a member. Vogue renewed their membership. Fat Matt's been a member for 17 months in a row, and 28 months in a row. Awesome-Nemator. I always get his name wrong because it always sounds like Terminator. I always get on that. Awesome-Nemator. 28 months in a row, and he's been a dedicated Patreon follower as well. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, the podcast, and all that comes with it. John, topic time.
Ultimate Noob 23 says, if two mind readers read each other's mind, whose mind are they really reading? This is an easy question to answer, because I've always imagined mind reading as you just having two voices in your head. Your own and then somebody else's.
What was the question?
So they're both. If two mind readers read each other's mind, whose mind are they really reading?
Oh, I gotcha.
Here's how I imagine mind reading. If I read your mind read, I hear my internal dialogue, and then I hear your internal dialogue.
Gotcha.
So if two mind readers read each other's mind, they're both hearing the same two dialogues.
Gotcha.
That's how I interpret it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
that, or it's a hot mess, or it's like the phone thing when you take your phones and you start having them like echo when you just get the feedback, or by speaker.
Maybe there might be an echo to it.
That'd be fun.
Captain Murphy said, "Did the guy who made the ray gun, the electric, make it? Sorry, did the guy who made the working electric ray gun make more yet? I'm interested in buying one." I saw you actually DM me this, but I didn't respond to you because I don't have an answer. I saw it like I turned on Discord today, Captain Murphy, to go do the show, and I saw it, but I was getting ready for the show and I didn't have an answer, so I didn't get back to you yet.
Shit. I think I have a DM from him too. I got to respond to.
I still don't have an answer to that, truthfully. But that would be a question for
the Ray Gun Project.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of the name. The Ray Gun Project. That'd be a question for him.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. Go ahead and shoot him a message. It's
literally at Ray Gun Project. I don't know if he like takes orders for this.
I doubt. The problem is with selling this is it's the labor costs. Like, even though what a consumer might be willing to pay $200 for something like that, there's no way. At least as a business owner, I would never sell that for $200 because that's probably like a 48 hours. Like, unless he got it way down because he's done it so many times to 3D print and do all the soldering and the LEDs and all the wiring. It's got to be like a 48-hour project. And for that, now we're looking at like collectible stuff where you're talking like $800, $1,000 statue type of deal. That's where these ray guns are going to end up being if you want to try and sell them commercially. So I don't know.
That'd be a question for him. I know I see you just wrote, I don't have Twitter, but thanks for the info anyway.
He has Discord, so look at my Discord server.
Yeah, like just look up the Ray Gun Project. You don't need Twitter to see his Twitter account, and then from there you can find his other social media channels.
Yeah, you can definitely contact him.
Reach out to him though. That'd be the person to ask.
Yeah.
Next one, Dabo44 says, "What do we call the child from the Mandalorian show? Since Disney and the writers don't like it being called Baby Yoda."
They call it the child. They literally call it the child in all the scripts and all the.
I don't like the name Baby Yoda. I'm on Team Yiddle.
Is that Yoda and Yaddle in between?
Yiddle is a mix of Little and Yoda.
Okay.
Yoda Little, because Yoda backwards.
It's literally written in the script as the child and referred to as the child. And on the marketing stuff, it's the child, so it's fine.
I prefer the name Yiddle.
It's fine.
I would call it Baby Yoda because that's the name that is stuck. But I have a silent campaign for Yiddle.
I don't have passion against this. Like, if you want to call it Baby Yoda, fine. The child makes the most sense to me, but like, I'm not gonna ruin people's parade. I'm happy people are excited about Star Wars again. I'm happy Star Wars is making good content again. It was a pain, man. Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah. AHL says, "What are your plans for the new year?" I'm on what I call my year of new.
Nice. CP Gray video I see. He released another one, translated from the podcast to a video.
If you've been listening to the podcast for a while,
CGP Gray.
He finally made a video on it, which lays it all out. But like, this has been a thing I've done now for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the idea from it is the idea from like their podcast that he does, one of the podcasts he does.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a thing that's been around for a long time, but he only recently made a video on it. But this year for me is my year of new.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to do new stuff, new projects. I've got a lot of new stuff cooking, I'll say. But yeah, and I'm running a lot. I'm trying to run 1,000 miles this year.
Wow.
I ran 68 miles in January.
Yep.
Which is actually behind on pace. I got to do 83 miles a month to get to 1,000. But I also didn't run for the first 10 days of January. So like I'm well on pace now in terms of just daily running. I did 4 yesterday.
Dope.
I'll probably run another 4 today. But yeah, try to hit 1,000 miles.
That's an awesome goal. Mine is go ahead.
Oh, I have a big thermometer. I bought like 2 poster boards and I drew on a thermometer.
That's awesome.
And so every couple miles I update the thermometer. It's at 72 right now. 72 miles.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
What about you?
Year of creating. I just want to create stuff. I want to make more things like those posters and create new projects and do more stuff I'm proud of. I'm at this weird crossroads right now, where I was thinking about going back to college, and then it's just like, I think I was doing that just to do that, and I don't want to really go down that road. Applying to some stuff, applied to another Critical Role job. We'll see how that goes. Haven't heard back. They're busting down my door. So, I don't know. Workforce, and I want to get back into YouTube, posting 1 to 2 videos a week. That's what I really want to get back into. So we'll see how it goes.
Next one says, Kingdom Hops. Why do you think the Secret Door in Ascension was ported over to the Chronicles version?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't get it.
I know
either.
the secret door. I mean, it was still there, and it wasn't even secret. There's nothing
What's the
behind
secret
it. Remember the chain? I think he's referring to where there was a by the
one below
box. Ish, but down the hill of the box to the left.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. There's
That's
actually
why-
multiple.
that's
The
why I
jug
wasn't
one's
sure what he was
actually one
talking
too. Actually, that's fair. He could be talking
That's
about
why.
either.
That's
of
why
them.
I wasn't sure what he was talking about, because I was thinking of multiple.
Yeah, there's so many of them. So I mean, they just port the map in. I don't think there's anything significant to that because we've no clipped, and I guess obviously they can hide stuff behind triggers that it can appear later
There's
on.
nothing there though.
But they strip the code of all the games. Like data miners do what data miners do.
But that is it for topic time.
All right, and I will address loved Remind. I actually wrote a script. First script I've written in a while. Actually, I've written a bunch of scripts that never gotten anywhere, but this is the one I'm actually going to record the audio, and I hope to get my Remind thoughts, review, and all that type of stuff out. Have a super catchy title for it, but I loved it. The summary is I had a really fun time. The data battles were awesome, and the story made me actually more satisfied than the original. So there we are. There we have it.
Kingdom Hops is the one below Speed Cola.
Speed Cola. I don't even see him in chat right now. How far behind is my chat?
Topic time.
Topic time, thank you. The one behind Speed Cola? Yeah, so that would be... Wait, is he talking about the lander pads?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because you could still...
Like the mod I made with Roland?
I don't know, but they just basically ported the map over.
Mule Kick Door? Yeah, it's just... Yeah, that's another one. That's yet another one. We've named like 4. Yeah. It is what it is. No, I don't think there's anything to
That's it for topic time.
Yeah, so thank you all for coming out. We'll be back with our next episode of Zombros when more news and information comes out and zombies, if more interesting topics come up. We got to thank all of you for supporting us at the Patreon. If you like this podcast, you want it to continue, you can go over to patreon.com/Zombros podcast.
No, I would say don't go to Patreon.
We're not doing that yet. We're still in we're about to revamp it anyway, and we have all the pledges on pause.
Yeah, well, you know, I might as well just quickly throw in a Patreon update.
Yeah, we should.
I've been slowly and quietly working on updating that in the background. That's why for January and February, I've paused the Patreon. I paused it the other day so that nobody got charged. Like, you can still be a patron and become a patron, but I would say right now, if you are a patron, you can stick around and nothing will change. You won't even be charged any money. And you'll still have access to the Discord. So if you are a patron, stick around. If you want to become a patron, just hang on. Wait till we revamp it. And we did actually finally send out the Zombros pint glasses.
Yep. I got them all out.
I saw people were getting them on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, with the Patreon, thank you to those who support us. We're making some changes. They should hopefully be ready in the next week or so. And then from there, we will recommend you guys subscribe to the Patreon.
Most certainly. Well, I think that's everything we have to talk about. We talked about all of our updates, and we'll see you all next time. Be safe. Until then, take care. Good to see you. Good to catch up with you. Happy New Year. We'll catch you in the next episode of Zombros. Till then, see ya.